In September of 2022, I had the opportunity to attend the Society of Nematologists conference in Anchorage, Alaska. Now you're probably asking yourself, what the heck is the Society of Nematologists and why do they have a conference? Society of Nematologists, or SON for short, is a nonprofit organization that was created over 60 plus years ago and was formed to advance the science of nematology in both its fundamental and economic aspects. They hold an annual meeting where members can meet in one place and discuss their latest research, share information, and network. The location of the conference changes every year, and this was the first time it was ever held in Anchorage, Alaska. This was also my first time attending the conference. I arrived in Alaska a few days before the conference and managed to do some of my own sightseeing around the state. You can see my additional travels around Alaska in some other videos on my channel. I checked into the hotel where the conference would be held and was greeted by this amazing view and a huge taxidermy brown bear in the lobby. The conference kicked off that night with a welcome dinner and show put on by local natives. We were up bright and early the next morning for the welcome session, followed by presentations throughout the day. I also had the opportunity to participate in an industry panel for students in the afternoon. The next day, I was up before the sun and participated in an industry Q&A for students during the morning session, followed by more presentation sessions in the afternoon. I was able to take a break from conference activities for a little bit and ventured over to a nearby coffee shop. The moment I walked through the door, I fell in love with the aesthetic and vibe of this coffee shop. It's called That Feeling Co., and I highly recommend stopping by if you're in Anchorage. After securing my caffeine, I headed back to the conference center for the afternoon program, which was poster presentations and drinks. The next day was a slight change of pace as I went on an Alaska agriculture industry tour for most of the day. After we all boarded the bus with our boxed lunches, we headed about an hour north of Anchorage and soon arrived at our first stop at the Alaska Plant Materials Center, which is responsible for producing and maintaining native Alaskan crop seeds for producers.
And that's actually quite a revenue generator for.
Then we hopped back on the bus and headed to our next destination, which was to hear from a local grower and to see his operation in action and learn about the challenges he faces while growing crops in the Alaskan climate. From there, we moved on to our third stop, which was probably my favorite portion of the whole tour. We would be visiting a muskox farm. I honestly knew very little about muskox, but our tour guide was great at telling us all about muskox and their historical influence on Alaska, as well as some fun facts. An unexpected fun fact was they are pretty much blind, and when frightened, will blind chargely at the source of the sound or movement. Therefore, we had to move slowly and carefully around their pastures so that we wouldn't spook them. They are also home to this rare three-legged muskox. She had to have her leg amputated after an accident, and it wasn't believed that hoofed animals could survive with 3 legs, but she has defied the odds and is thriving. After finishing up at the ox farm, we headed to our final destination, which was a short hike along a portion of the Budenberg Boot Trail. We had great views of the valley as we walked along this trail. And before we knew it, our tour had come to an end and it was time to get back on the bus and head back to Anchorage. For dinner, I chose to eat at 49th State Brewing, where I ordered and enjoyed a yak burger. The final day of the conference had a few more presentations and wrapped up with an award banquet in the evening. I was up bright and early the next day to catch my flight home to Raleigh, North Carolina, after a jam-packed few days of learning and networking. This was a very rewarding experience, and as someone who is very new to the world of nematology and still has a lot to learn, it really gave me an opportunity to expand my knowledge and be exposed to a variety of research projects. I look forward to attending the next conference.